He is relaxed now. He wasn't for a long time. Most of our foundation is just teaching him to stand really well. I think the missing gait in horsemanship is the standstill. And so we just spend enormous amounts of time establishing a standstill. Can you guys still hear me okay? So he's a little wet today because he's been standing under the sprinkler, and given the timing of our Zoom call, we had to just kind of pull him out and groom him up. But it's actually fine. It's better if you ride a horse with a dry back. But if you're going to ride in a very comfortable saddle for them and a short little ride, it's like coming out of the wilderness after a swim in the lake. It's safe. It's fine. See your buddies running around out there? So Blue and I, given that I just cinched up, I was about to hop on, but there's something I want to show you. Don't cinch up and then ride. Not yet. Just walk a few steps. Even if it's just a half a dozen. Back around and then ride. Because those few steps actually take away what we call cinch bound. It's a problem that horses get when they get really introverted and tight. Now he wasn't, and I could tell he wasn't introverted and tight. And there's tests we can do just to make sure he's loose and rideable. But because I just barely redid the cinch and repositioned the saddle, I don't want to just hop on. One of the things that gets us in trouble is when we make adjustments and then we just assume the horse is okay with those adjustments. They may have actually gone introverted just a little bit. They may have gone inside just a little bit. Well, I can tell which side the sprinkler's been hitting you this morning, mostly on that side, huh? So I wanted to give you a little update on Blue. Thanks for joining me. Update today is that, well, last week we introduced the canter. We just started to just piece away at the idea of cantering, just a few steps into the faster trot, then back to the slower trot, and then back to the faster trot, and back to the slower trot. So we're going to do more of that and a little bit of emotional regulation work inside the trot with Blue. So you guys can see that update as well. I'm going to back away from our mounting block. We could just march ahead. I like to check my brakes. You know, I got my pilot's license a few years ago, and the first thing you do when you get in the airplane, when the engine starts, is you put your foot on the brake and you make sure that the brakes work. So backing equals brakes with a horse. And then we just practice our steering components. I want to be able to turn his hindquarters around and bend his neck and turn those hindquarters around. And he's not feeling like overly excited about those activities, which is awesome. All the basics. Don't just go around warming your horse's feet up. Check those brakes. His brakes were really poor there for a second, little lapse in his understanding. Let's check those brakes again. Oh, a new day, a new brain. The thing about horses is you never get today what you got yesterday. Sometimes you do, and you think that that should be normal, but it's not. What's actually normal is that today's different than yesterday. For some reason, today, he's got a cooler, wetter back from standing under the sprinkler. Or it's a hotter, sunnier day, or whatever it is. But regardless, the fundamentals still have to be there. And the fact that he's really not wanting to back up tells me we just have to focus on this instead of trotting around and hoping that our canter will just be okay. He's got to pull away from that hesitation. So plenty of backing. He's responding to my hands by bending his neck, but not by moving his feet. He's not feeling my seat connection yet. There we go. That time he actually kind of paid attention. Didn't just march on ahead. So cantering actually doesn't just happen. It starts with a series of communication events. So one of them is backing, the other one is steering, and the other one is speed control. So I need to be able to work inside the trot at a slow trot and a fast trot, but I can practice at a walk. I can practice walking slow, and I can practice walking fast. And then I can practice slowing that down. And since he's still heavy on the brakes, I'm going to back off, back up a step and say thanks for coming back. So practice walking fast again. Oh, not trotting. Let's back off again. He's a good horse. He's just a little bit of a goer. Can you guys still hear me okay? Okay, good. Let's practice walking slow. Let's practice walking a little faster. And let's bring it back down to slow. Beautiful. Okay, so we have our speed control work. We have a horse that's fundamentally, not excited about stuff. He's getting to the point where, kind of surprised him there, getting to the point where he can handle more and more stuff. always with a younger horse, you're like, we've still got some surprisability in there. You got this. I think he's 7 or 8. He might even be younger than that. Yeah, and he actually has done a lot of riding with some cowboy some time ago. So he can walk, trot, and canter. He can carry a rider, but he's always been edgy, like just a little bit of a goer. And in a red zone, a place you might call a hard area to ride, with a lot of activities going on, he's almost out of control. So they sent him to me to help him just relax and find himself. So we're going to get into our trot work now. And the first thing we need to check with every horse is brakes. Think about the 3 S's: stopping, steering, and speed control. And we do that in each gait. So while we're standing still, you can't stop from a standstill, but you could check your brakes from a standstill. And from a standstill, you could check your steering. You could make sure you have the ability to guide his head. And then we just take that idea into the walk: stopping, steering, and speed control. And then into the trot: stopping, steering, and speed control. But first, we got to get our stopping really good. He goes into that trot and he kind of stays there with his throttle stuck. So when I practice my brakes, although he doesn't want to, he gets rewarded for backing off my hands. They'll get better through repetition. So we just practice our braking. And notice I don't do a ton of trot steps. There's no point in trotting 4 circles and practicing braking twice. Instead, I'll trot about 4 steps. And by the time I've made it 1 circle, I've practiced my braking about 10 times. So we have a chance of really improving in 1 session rather than improving over 1 year. There you go. If I have great stopping mechanics in my trot, and he's not leaning or hesitating to respond to me, Then I can start my steering work. So I'm just going to do a little bit of steering, and this is what I meant from the beginning about emotional regulation. If he'll trot really soft and slow, it's easy to ride. But when he gets a little bit tight or fast, I can regulate that just by turning. Just turning and slowing down. And to the point, the real goal in my steering work is to actually train him to regulate himself and just keep a really easy pace about his trot. By getting him to follow my hands like this and slow down. I end up doing this like infinite figure eight. But ultimately, he starts to regulate himself, and then I don't have to turn so much. So I can use turning to get him better at my aids, and I can also just use turning to regulate his emotions. I can use my stopping and speed control for regulation as well. But the turning is one of my favorites because it's fun and it flows. He's starting to regulate himself now. He's starting to slow down by himself instead of carry on. Oop, there's a little bit of extra speed on his part. And I bring him back down. Now watch this one. Let's see if he regulates himself. I'm not going to steer him. Let's see if he regulates himself. Nope, he's speeding up. So I turn and I get a bend and his ribs bend and he breathes deeper. And then we take off again, slowly, smoothly, and he starts to speed up and I bend him and he has a chance to breathe again and relax. He's not regulating yet. I'll give him a minute. See, we loosen up the reins and just check him. Like, no, not regulating yet. Why would I canter a horse that's not emotionally regulated, that when I loosen up on the reins, he goes faster? I don't want to do that. What I want is to canter a horse that is emotionally with it. So we prepare not just through physical exercises, but mental exercises like this, where we say, can you just regulate yourself? I'll leave you alone if you do. I won't make you turn if you do. Can you just sort of trot and not be in a hurry? Watch this, watch this, watch this. That was his idea. I had the help of a horse out there. But I could feel him slowing down for me. Let's check it out again. Good. Watch this, that's his idea. I didn't slow him down or turn him. He found his way back to the walk, which is a sign. See, watch him. There. He's starting to figure out like, oh, why am I in such a hurry? If I get in a hurry, I just have to slow down or turn. So maybe I'll just stay slow. To begin with. If you've seen some of my videos before, you know all about the tool and how we want it to be nuanced. It can be a friendly tool, a grooming tool, a guiding tool, a desensitization tool. He learns the nuance of that tool. Okay, we have our emotional regulation, we have our steering. So now we get to practice our speed control. And speed control will lead to the canter, because one thing I wanted to just real quick demonstrate is I don't actually cue the canter, not for a long time. What I do instead is allow him to find the canter through a series of extending and compressing maneuvers. And then he looks for the canter. So if he gets a little bit too extended, I reset, recompress, and I slow down. So just working slow and fast helps him sort of compress the spring a little bit in a confident, meaningful way. And then he'll find the canter rather than me just telling him to canter, which may cause quite a bit of tension. In fact, most certainly has caused tension in him. Good job regulating yourself. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna slow the trot, slow it down, and then we're gonna start posting and speed the trot up. And then we're gonna slow it down. And if he's responding, then I feel confident to extend a little more and then bring it back. And I don't want him to run into the canter. So by slowing him down and re-compressing the spring a little bit, he'll learn to pick up the canter without racing into it. A little bit of speed control. Good job. And this is his harder side. I'm not a big fan of working on the easy side first. I tend to just work on what's ever available to me, and we'll get both sides done. Maybe it takes a little longer on my hard side, but I don't want to spend less time on my hard side just because it's harder. Okay, let's do that again. A little bit of trot, a little bit of slower trot, a little bit of faster trot. I can feel with it, you can see with his ears and his idea about this that he was told to canter before he was ready. So this is kind of like approach and retreat. Like, you could canter if you feel like it, but if you don't, and you're just gonna get all fast and fizzy, let's come back down and be together. So this is week 2 of preparing for the canter. And he just took that on his own. And he's coming back down on his own too. There, I'm helping him a little bit so he doesn't stay in that fast trot. Now last week, I think we got 1 step maybe or none on that hard side. We did our Zoom call last week. There was, I don't think, 1 step on the hard side. This week we're getting a lot more, but we don't just think canter, 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 canter. What we think is regulation and smoothness and helping him take the tension out. And then finally, our canter will grow. We'll get more and more steps as he learns to do it well rather than just do it. I don't want a horse to do it, I want them to get it. I'm going to stay on this hard side one more time. Slow. Good. Already. Slow. Good. Then I'll just let him out a little bit more. And he just decided, I feel like maybe the canter could work for me. That horse on the other side of the fence is so helpful. He's like, I'm going to chase you. But I like working with distractions. I love having opportunities that cause me to communicate more with my horse. Not bad. We got some work to do to take that tension out, but lots of resting and relaxation is going to prove to him I'm not that guy that says, go and do it when I say it and be obedient. I want more than obedience from him. I want calm, cool, collected, happy. So we got a little more work on that right side for sure. We're going to check out the left side. We're going to do the same exercise. Into the trot. Slow the trot down to a sitting, slow trot. Start posting and speed the trot up. And if he takes the canter, great. If not, we come back down. So it's always balanced. We're not running into the canter. We're just creating opportunities to canter. Come back, don't race. And if he feels ready, then he'll canter. Come back, don't race. If you're ready for it, then you'll do it on your own. Come back, don't race around. So stopping, steering, and speed control ultimately lead to quiet, calm, relaxed. I was able to just drop the reins and he's regulating himself back down. I'm a happy camper. Starting to dry off too. He got sprinkled this morning standing under that sprinkler. Good deal. So I should go for like 2 more hours, right? And make it work. Nope, I'm done. I just need a little bit, end on a peak. I might go through a valley or two some days, but I always want to end on a peak. So there you have it, a little update on Blue. Thanks for watching. You guys in my Zoom call, any questions?